really got the sledgehammer. So I want to invite you to learn how to listen to that still small voice, listen to what you're being guided to, what might be intriguing to you, what things sort of incite passion or purpose within you, and move into that place of acknowledging it. So when you look at what it is you desire, notice that that desire, it's guidance. It's guidance. It's saying, hey, here's something for you to look at. Here's something for you to explore. Here's a place you might want to go to. And when we start listening to that, life begins to flow. Well, frankly, so much easier than when we're ignoring it, shall we say. So, whatever is coming, just remember that desire is not a problem, it's guidance. Now, Spirit speaks through us, of course, and it speaks through longing, it speaks through curiosity, and even discomfort. Sometimes we get a pain in the body, we get a headache, or, we get a sore arm or sore back or whatever. Usually, the first thing that happens is we, reach for a pill, or we go take a nap, or we do something to try to alleviate whatever the discomfort is. But what if instead we looked at that discomfort and asked ourselves, our body, our emotions, but asked ourselves, what are you trying to tell me? Or what is the need here? Like, what do I need? And then we have to remember that it's not someone else's responsibility to meet our need. It is our own. We must meet our own needs. It's really important that we learn that. So if we are getting that, pain, whether it's a sore back or a sore arm or a bad cold or a toothache, all of these things can actually be messages that show us maybe where we need to redirect our focus or begin to listen more closely to the body, to our life experience. So it can come to us as an experience out here, but it can also come to us as an experience in here, emotionally, or physical pain or anything like that, can begin to show us a place where there is a correction that's ready to happen. And all we need to do is listen. Listen, listen, listen. So our life shows us where we're headed. It shows us kind of where we've been, or it also shows us what we're thinking about. Sometimes we're living life and it's a little bit difficult. There's a lot of difficulties going on. And maybe those difficulties, it's easy to go, oh, it's, my best friend's fault, or it's my neighbor's fault, or it's my boss's fault, right? But what we could do instead is just kind of drop our awareness into ourselves and ask the question, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? And then be prepared to fulfill the need. Now, I don't know about you, but I know of me. And sometimes I get a little prompt and I go, later. Not now. Yeah, I don't really like that one. So let's just put that on the top shelf and leave it there. We sometimes ignore the prompts. Now, of course, life gets easier when we start to pay attention to them. When we start to pay attention to what's coming up for us, when we start to pay attention to, the things that are happening that excite or delight us, where are we having fun? Remember that song years ago? I can't remember the artist, but it's like, dance like no one is watching. Free yourself to be you. Free yourself to be you. You see, life is calling you to the place you love. Think about what you really love and what you put up with. Think about what's important to you and what holds you back. start to pay attention to these things. These are messages that would allow you to begin to take a greater control of your life. I mean, we never have full control. We're here with 8 billion people. We couldn't possibly control it all. However, what we can do is notice where we are in all of this. So when I'm feeling upset about something, I can just sort of put my consciousness inside and go, what's that telling me right now? What's going on for me right now? Where am I fearful or disappointed? Where do I feel lonely or frustrated? Or better yet, where do I feel excited and delighted? Like, what's coming? What's next? You see, we can begin to really begin to charge our lives in a much bigger way when we begin to listen. Yeah, not to your best friend or your boss or your coworker or whoever. Begin to listen to the inner prompts that are there specifically for you. Not anybody else, just you. See, life is happening all the time. Life is happening through us all the time. And a life you love begins with inner consent, not outer change. I remember speaking to somebody many, many years ago who was talking about wanting more peace in their life. And I went, well, peace is possible. But peace isn't going to happen until I have it right here. So, in the midst of chaos and concern and struggles and strife, if I will take a breath and just ask myself the questions, what do I need? What's coming? What's next? If I will pay attention to the prompts, life begins to flow with a greater sense of ease. There's a great book out called The Universe is Calling by Eric Butterworth. Fabulous book. And it's all about that listening process. It's all about paying attention to those little prompts that we're getting. Now, sometimes they come from the outer, right? You know, maybe we're going through life and all of a sudden everything is showing up roses. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. And then a week later, it's like, whoosh, crash. Something happens that's upsetting. You know, we have a friend get really sick, or someone we know dies, or there's some horrific thing that happens in the world that really gets our attention. Whatever it is, our emotional response to it is something that will tell us a little bit more about who we really are and where we stand in life, what's important to us, what really matters to us. And we want to get a sense of that. I want to share a story with you. This is a story about a woman who kept feeling a little tug towards something more meaning, more joy, more aliveness. Nothing was wrong. Like, nothing was wrong with her life. It worked, it functioned, you know, it looked absolutely fine. And yet there was a gentle tug. A gentle tug. I mean, when you look at your life and you go, but my life is okay. Everything's kind of working okay. I feel okay. But there's an inner whisper. And she was getting that little inner whisper that just said, there's more for you. There's more for you. She described it like getting a phone call that she never quite answered. So a life you love is calling you and it's going to voicemail. Or worse yet, you forgot to set up your voicemail, so it's just going into the ethers. Been there, I've done that. So she described this phone call that she never quite answered. At first it rang softly. It's just, kind of gentle. During quiet moments or long walks or just before falling asleep. And she ignored it. I'm too busy. Been there. I'll deal with that later. Been there too. Who am I to want more or to expect more? I think many of us have done that. So the call kept coming. Eventually, she noticed something. Every time she ignored the call, life felt heavier. More effort, more exhaustion, less joy. So one day, instead of pushing the feeling away, she paused and said, "Okay, what are you asking of me?" And the answer wasn't dramatic, right? Sometimes we expect fireworks and something wild to happen that will, go, whoa, like, some grand thing happens and it's like, whew, wow, glad I listened to that. But it's usually not anything that big. And the answer for her wasn't dramatic. It wasn't quit your job or move across the world. It was simple. Tell the truth. Tell the truth, especially to yourself. Make space for what lights you up. There's things in our life that really bring us joy. It might be listening to music or dancing or singing a song. It might be writing. It could be out walking in nature or playing with a dog or a cat. There's so many things that really seem simple that can really light us up. So we want to pay attention. So tell the truth, make space for what lights you up, and stop living on autopilot. Yeah. I have talked to so many people over the years, and every now and again, I'll hear people say, well, when I retire, now they're only 30 at this point, but when I retire, then life will be this. Or when I get married, then things will be good. Or, oh, I'll be happier when I have children. Or I'll be happier when I get divorced. Or happier when I, quit this darn job and get a different, like whatever's going on in there. We want to stop living on that borrowed time where someday it's going to get good. Well, the only power we have is now. 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 This is the point of power. So she began responding just a little at a time. Life didn't suddenly become perfect, but it became aligned. Yeah. The call didn't stop, it became clearer, which is kind of nice. Because here's this thing, Spirit doesn't stop calling. It doesn't hang up on us. But the quality of our life changes the moment we finally say, hello. Yeah. In the moment that we answer the call, things begin to shift around us. Things begin to move in ways that might be quite unexpected. I often hear people go, oh man, look at that person, last week they were flipping burgers at McDonald's and this week they're on the big screen. Wow, what a miracle. No, it was probably years and years and years of hard work. Years of effort and listening and paying attention to the call and paying attention to the things that were exciting and delightful and also the things that were painful and difficult. You see, all of it makes up a life. Not some of it, all of it. We talk about, get rid of the ego. No, you can't get rid of the ego. It's keeping you alive, for crying out loud. You gotta have it, but it shouldn't run the show. What you want to run the show is that part of you that is, I don't know, really connected. That part of you that is clear about who you are. You see, when we start to listen to the call that's coming in, we start listening to the universe calling us, we become more peaceful, more joyful. We become more centered and probably in the long run, healthier, wealthier, and maybe even wiser. I'm not sure. But all of these things begin to happen because we're paying attention. We're paying attention to the call of Spirit. You see, within us, there is this incredible wealth of knowledge. There's this incredible, a little something, something that is only us. You see, everyone is created unique and special. So if we're all unique and special, what is my uniqueness? What is yours? And when we were looking at those questions that I asked you about in the meditation, when we were going through the meditation, and I asked you to think about things, and when it came time to journal, what was your yes? What is the thing that you could say yes to? What was that? And does that feel fulfilling and satisfying and exciting? You see, some of us are living our lives because mom said I shouldn't do this, or dad said I can't do that, or a teacher told us once we're no good at this or that. I remember Karen Drucker. I mean, we heard her song Breathe, and she tells a story of when she was in school and a teacher told her to shut up and stop singing because she can't sing. Well, I don't know if you've been on YouTube and looked up her name, but she has got a lot of good videos on there with great music. She's brilliant. But had she listened, and I think she did for a while, but had she listened to that teacher, maybe she never would have started singing. And we'd be worse off for it because her music brings joy and peace and laughter and fun and introspection. It's really, really powerful music. What we want to do is begin to live life from the inside out, not the other way around. Yes, we pay attention to out here, but we don't want to live from there. You see, it's up to us to decide what our lives could look like. And that doesn't mean that, we're going to wake up one day with a spiritual epiphany and ta-da, everything is beautiful. It takes manure to grow roses. It takes fertilizer to create a healthy, beautiful lawn. It takes care and attention. And so it does with our lives. And as we take that care and attention, as we listen to that inner voice, those prompts that we're getting, as we begin to listen to all of that, we begin to free ourselves from dread and from pain and from struggle. Doesn't mean bad things don't happen. It just means we respond to them differently. Yes, very differently. You see, I still had stuff happen in my life, but I'll tell you, my life is pretty good, and I'm happy. What more could one person ask for? Sure, I could have more wealth. I could have, more free time. I could have lots of things. But the truth is, I'm really satisfied with my life. I'm really happy with my life. I love what I do. I'm excited about what I do. So where are you in your life? Are you answering the call? Are you paying attention to that little nudge that comes, that feeling of, do you remember the song many, 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 many years ago? I think Connie Francis sang it. Oh, now it's going to leave me just because I talked about it. Oh, shoot. It did. It left. Well, it'll come back. Thing is, que sera, sera. I knew it'd come back. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not mine to see. Que sera, sera. Yeah, I know, a little flat there, but that's not the point. The point is, life is moving. We're on this planet, this spinning ball of blue that has 8 billion people on it, not to mention all the other life that's here. The trees, the insects, the birds, the animals, the fish. It's like there's so much life. And so our little piece of it is the only piece we have control over. And our control is not in what's going to show up. Our control is how we respond to what shows up. How are we responding when something happens that we don't like? Say we get laid off from a job we hate. We should be elated, but that's not usually where we go, is it? At that point, we go, oh no, how am I going to pay my bills? What am I going to do? Where will I find another job? This is where we want to take the time. Just like Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, we listen. We listen to the stillness. So the call isn't about asking you to abandon your life. It's asking you to live it consciously. Yeah, that's the call. Listen to life consciously. So we trust the call because it arises from the same source that knows how to fulfill it. See, sometimes we get an idea and we go, but I don't know how to do that. Ours is not the how. Ours is the desire, the expectation, the excitement. That's what's ours to do. That's what we're looking for. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Are you ready? Are you ready to answer that call? Trust me, it will make for a much happier